Hello. If you're watching this, welcome to my channel. I'm Autumn and I make very rambly mental health videos where I just kind of talk about the things that I experience as a person dealing with mental illness. I've been talking about my psychosis a lot recently because that's what's been affecting me the most recently, and since I don't sleep anymore, or I haven't been able to sleep for a while, I figured I would use this opportunity to talk a little bit more about my hallucinations and the things that I hallucinate, because I mentioned in the other videos that I have like specific hallucinations and then I have like random ones. So I just want to talk a little bit about the things that I hear and see and experience pretty much every day. So my like main voices, because I have like regular ones that are there all the time, or they're there regularly. They all have their own like names and personalities. It's not dissociative identity disorder. It's not DID. It is psychosis. They're just their voices, not alters. Just want to make that clear. So there's 8 of them. Some of them are very bad. Some of them are good. And then some of them are just kind of neutral. I don't really consider them evil or good. They're just kind of there and annoying. So I guess I'll talk about those first, and then I'll probably get into some of the other ones that aren't as regular. So, and I have notes over here, so that's why I keep looking over here, so that I can maybe keep my train of thought a little better. So the bad ones, I'll talk about those first. Malachi is the absolute worst one out of all of the regular ones. He is the worst. I used to believe that he was the devil, sometimes still do. He is very, very, like, very evil, very bad. He tells me awful things. He'll tell me, like, to kill myself. He'll tell me that he's going to drag me to hell. He'll tell me that, like, just say awful things about me, like like things that have happened in my past. He'll kind of remind me of them and say things to like upset me and kind of try to get me to kill myself. So he'll have like reasons, like he'll use these as reasons why I should kill myself. And he can also summon demons, and he kind of controls like the hell or like the shadow world. I don't really know what to call it, but there's demons, and then there's like shadow people, I call them, because they're like, they look like people, but they're like these elongated shadows. I think I mentioned that in another video. It looks like if you're walking at sunset outside and your shadow is really long, and they're two-dimensional. They're on the walls. They'll be on the walls, sometimes the ceiling and the floor. But there's something like, they're very sinister. So there's something about them that's very like scary. And then there's demons, which are kind of similar, but they're not two-dimensional. They're like three-dimensional, and they look a little bit different. Like they're solid black, but they kind of have these like these red eyes that are very scary to see in the middle of the night when I'm trying to sleep, and there's just like these demons around my bed with these just red eyes staring at me. And then they will say things like, oh, we're going to take your soul, we're going to drag you to hell, and God can't save you, God doesn't love you, he's not here, he's not going to help you. Sorry I'm saying so much. It's a habit. So he is very bad, and he looks, because a lot of my voices will have like sometimes it's just a voice, and sometimes it's a visual manifestation as well. He is mostly a voice, but I will occasionally see him, and he looks terrifying. He's this man that kind of looks like he's made of snakes. I don't really know how to describe it other than that. Like his hands are snakes. His face has like snakes coming out of it. It's really, really scary, really bizarre. So that's Malachi. 12 is another bad one, but she's like sneaky bad. Because she's a black cat and she looks cute, you know, because I love cats and I like black cats. And so she looks cute, and she's got one of those voices that's very soothing and captivating and convincing. So she'll talk in like this sweet, soft voice while she's telling me to do bad things. So she'll say something like, I could be walking down the street and she'll pop up and say something like, you know, traffic's pretty heavy today. I'm sure it would be okay if, you know, you walked in front of a bus. Like, I'm sure nobody would mind. Like, so she makes bad things sound like a good idea, if that makes sense. It's like this hypnotic kind of voice. And she's one that I worry about for that reason, because Malachi is very like terrifying, but he's like obviously terrifying. 12, she can be kind of sneaky. She can seem like she's trying to help me, and when really she's trying to get me to hurt myself or kill myself or something like that. So those are the two like bad ones. Then there are the good ones. I call them, like, I tend to think of them as like my protectors, my friends. They're a source of comfort for me, encouragement. I don't mind having them around. I like having them around. Mordecai, Emily, and Destry are the good ones. Mordecai is, he's this rabbit. He kind of looks like the March Hare from Alice in Wonderland. And he's very laid back. He's kind of got like this old soul kind of quality to him. He's got a voice that's sort of deep and soft. Just very like pleasant to listen to. And he will tell me, like, he'll defend me from the bad voices. He'll say things like, oh, you don't have to listen to them. You can do this. Like, if I'm trying to work on something for school, and then the bad voices are telling me like, why are you're so worthless, just put that down, don't even bother, don't do that. And then Mordecai will be like, hey, it's okay, like you can do this, you get really good grades, you have a 3.6 GPA, you're doing good, just keep doing what you're doing, you're okay. And if I'm having a panic attack, he'll, you know, say, like, talk very calmly to me in that way, and calm me down. Emily is, she's this little girl, and she's got like a, like this pink and white checkered dress, and like blonde pigtails. And she is very shy, but she's very sweet. I don't hear her as much anymore. Sometimes I'll see her just kind of like off in like a corner, or just, she's very quiet. I used to hear her a lot when I was younger, but I don't so much anymore. But she is still there sometimes. She'll talk to me in the middle of the night sometimes with this really just quiet little girl voice. And Destry is, I consider him like a friend of mine, because he's a human, and he looks, he's kind of tall, kind of lanky. He's got like the Holden Caulfield cap going on. he can be like an oddball. He can whine and complain sometimes. He's kind of clingy. He's one of the ones that's in my head the most. Like, he's just kind of there talking all day. Like, he just wants attention. He wants me to talk to him. He wants somebody to talk to. And like, even I consider him a good one because he's not bad. He doesn't like tell me bad things, and he'll be encouraging too sometimes. But he's not quite as comforting as Mordecai is. And then there's ones that are just kind of neutral. They're not really good or bad, they're just annoying. So Z, he is this very, very paranoid voice, and I don't. He isn't accompanied with a visual hallucination, so I don't know what he looks like. It's just a voice, and he's very paranoid. He'll tell me, you're being experimented on by the government, and they're watching you. They're watching your every move. You gotta watch your back. You gotta be careful. He'll tell me to, make sure that the windows or the blinds are closed and the doors barricaded, and he just gets really, really paranoid. He also just kind of talks about anything. So if I'm doing something, he might give commentary on it. Just like a running commentary of my day, which is really annoying. I could open the fridge, and he might say something like, "Oh, she's opening the fridge. Let's see what she's gonna have as a snack." And I don't know why he has to comment on everything, but he does. And then Benedict and Camilla are the other two. They kind of remind me of Team Rocket in a way. Like, they're always together. They're a bit kooky. They're a bit silly. They're aliens. I don't know what they look like either. But they do have British accents, which is funny to me that they're aliens and they have British accents. I watched a lot of Doctor Who growing up. Maybe that influenced that. I don't know. But they are British aliens, or British sounding aliens. And they make me laugh sometimes, and it's kind of awkward when I'm in public and they're saying something like funny in my head, and I'm trying not to laugh because then people will look at me like, "Why are you laughing?" But like, headphones and Bluetooth has made it easier for me to laugh or talk to my voices in public, because then I can just make it look like I'm on the phone with somebody. But I try not to engage with them in public just because it's really awkward. But aside from them, just being like really silly and funny, I don't really consider them good because they can be very annoying, especially if I'm trying to do something and they're just constantly goofing off in my head and I'm like, let me focus. They also send me like these like special messages or secret messages that I have to like decode. Sometimes they talk in a different language. I'm assuming it's like their alien language. They will say things that don't make sense. So they're saying like English words, but they're not in any sort of way that, in any sort of order that makes sense. So it's just random words just coming out. And that can also be very distracting because, I don't know what they're trying to say, and they kind of, I can hear them kind of get frustrated if I don't understand them, but what they're saying doesn't make any sense. So those are the 8 regular voices. Like I said, they all have their own names, personalities. Those are ones that have been there for years. So I know them pretty well. Then there are like randomly occurring hallucinations. So sometimes I'll hear noises outside my window, like gunshots, or I'll hear people talking and like camera shutters, like there's people taking pictures of me. There is this one consistent hallucination that was consistent for a while, and then when I went on Seroquel, he went away, but lately he's come back, and I'm kind of taking that as a sign that I might need to adjust my medication. But he doesn't speak, to me anyway. He's this man, he looks like a government agent. He's got like the black suit and the black hat kind of pulled over his face, and he talks into this thing. He follows me around everywhere, and he talks into this thing like he's kind of talking about me. And Z, the voice, like he tells me like, see, he's watching you, he's with the government, he's recording your every move. So that can cause a lot of paranoia for me when I'm out, especially by myself, because I go for a lot of walks by myself. And he's always there just following me, just talking into that thing. But some random ones, like I said, the noises outside of my window is one. Sometimes I will hear noises, like I'll hear a phone ring, but there's no phone ring. I'll check my phone, it's not ringing. I'll walk around the house and I can't find the phone or where it... So just noises like that are very, very annoying. Sometimes I'll hear static, like radio static, except there's something in the static, and sometimes these are some of the, like when Benedict and Camilla will send like messages for me to decode, they'll be in the form of radio static with things mixed in, but I usually can't. It's really hard to decipher what's being said. Usually it sounds very, there's a person, very, like I can like vaguely hear a voice in the static that sounds scared. Usually I can pick out words like help, kill. Those one time I heard like it was static and then clear as day, they're gonna kill me, and then static again. And that one freaked me out because it was so clear. It was like this girl and she was just shrieking. She was like, they're gonna kill me, and then it was just back to static. So I get hallucinations like that often. A lot of mine tend to be paranoid, like they're gonna kill you, or in that case they were gonna kill her. I don't know who they are, but sometimes I hear random voices that aren't part of my regular little family of voices. So it's the worst at night when I'm trying to sleep. It's like being in a noisy cafeteria where you can hear everybody talking but you can't pick out specific conversations. Sometimes it's like that and really loud. Sometimes it'll be like that, but I can hear a couple of conversations, and they're usually talking about me. Sometimes I'll hear like random like shrieks. Like I could just be doing homework and then there will be a shriek in one of my ears. It's like, hide. Like, hide from what? You know? And it kind of, makes me jump because it's just this random voice just screaming at me out of nowhere, like, hide, or they're going to kill you, or watch your back. And I never know who those are. Like, they're just kind of random. It's usually a man's voice. But yeah, I'm starting to lose my train of thought because I am hearing voices right now. It's not as bad as it was when I made that other video, but they are pretty annoying, and they're annoyed with me. I've said pretty much all I can think of to say on the topic. So I get, the voices, then I get random sounds like a phone ringing or static, visual hallucinations, like the man following me. Very, very rarely I've had tactile hallucinations, but that's very rare. Like there was one time where I felt a hand wrap around my ankle when I was in bed. There have been a couple of times where I felt bugs. One time it was spiders crawling all over my skin, and I was like freaking out because I'm terrified of spiders. And then the second time it felt like they were, like I had head lice, but they were kind of in my scalp and not kind of on it. And that ended up not being the issue, but it's very, those are probably the most terrifying ones that I have, and I'm glad that they're a very rare occurrence, because you can feel the sensation, and it's terrifying. And usually it's very itchy, like the spiders are itchy, the bugs in my head was itchy, but that hasn't happened since I've been on Seroquel, and very rarely happened before that. It's mostly auditory and visual. But yeah, this video is getting very long, and if you made it this far, I really appreciate you watching. I hope that this was somewhat educational or entertaining or whatever. I'm not really sure what the purpose of this was. I guess it was just to kind of talk about how I experience hallucinations, because they're different for everybody who experiences them. So I just wanted to kind of give my perspective on it and the things that I hallucinate. But anyway, thank you for watching. Stay safe and well. Bye.